the path, only strength can carry edges of doubt. Try to twist around my steps, reaching for a crack. The force collapse, but the stride answer with a surge that cut through their hold. Scars of old battles line the road, yet none carried the power. They once threatened, momentum rose louder than the past. Shaping each motion into a declaration, a refusal to climb, shifting into command, fueled by endurance, carved undefined. No pressure breaks, so we'll rebuild through impact every test, shaping the steel inside, rising
past the line where weakness fades and
strike forward without bending, crush the pull of resistance with sharpened intent. Rise through the strain with unbroken force, carving ground that only strength can claim.
we're as steady as the steps. Press deeper into the new path. Untouched ground stretched ahead, daring the first step to climb to a purpose. Shadows lingered at the edge of the unknown, whispering the risk of breaking from the familiar path. But the rise, press forward, momentum carving a new line through silence. Breath thick with resolve, challenging the world to push back. Uncertainty flickered, but the strike grew sharper, refusing to fold into the comfort of what once felt safe.
The unknown call louder than fear, though we'll answer it with motion meant to carve direction where none existed before.
Step into the untaken path, move through untouched ground, rise into the place fear never dared to claim, walking forward with unbroken intent.
The trail formed beneath each strike of my step, molding itself around determination rather than expectation. The shadows retreating as purpose grew heavy, a breath cut clean through hesitation, forging a route built from raw defiance. The world that had widening with every push of territory, shaped not by chance but by the force of choosing to step with doubt. Hoped I wouldn't.
New paths demand a stronger will, the unknown, bending for no one except those who rise with intent.
And call direction from fear.
Step into the untaken path, rise beyond the familiar lines, claim the world untouched by hesitation, moving forward with carved resolve.
Untouched ground opens as the march continues. Pain pressed against the ribs with every breath, testing the resolve that shaped the climb. But the march pushed harder, cutting through the sting with a force carved from endurance. The world tightened around the path, daring me to fold back into comfort. Yet the rise grew sharper, breath turning into fire that refused collapse. Momentum grinding forward through the weight that once threatened to break the core. Every wave of pain forged deeper strength, sharpening purpose until the struggle became fuel, pushing the climb higher.
Rise through the force of pain, break through the way that try to stop the ascent. Claim the power built in pressure, rising beyond what suffering could hold.
Each step carved a line through the tension, rewriting limits that once framed my reach. The eight no longer a threat, but a measure of how far the climb had carried me to ground. Tremble with each strike of resolve as the path widened under newfound strength. Breath burning through resistance and reshaping the world into territory conquered through endurance rather than ease. Pain becomes a weapon in the hands of will, shaping the rise beyond collapse, forging power born from survival and refusal to fall.
Rise through the force of pain, step past the edge where limits break. Claim the strength for sure, caught within and push into the heart ahead.
The ache steadies as the rise keeps moving. The ache steadies as the rise keeps moving.
Regret lingered at the edge of each step, reaching with the cold grip of memories that try to drag the climb backward. But the stride pushed harder, crushing the weight that wanted to anchor my motion.
Sharpened under pressure, forging momentum from moments that once slowed me. The world behind losing its hold is resolved. Carved forward, cutting through the noise. The beg for retreat and shape a movement too fierce to chase.
The past trained to keep its grip, but the rise moved quicker, breaking every tether and turning the distance into armor wrapped around my will. Move where regret cannot follow, push into the space past memories reach. Carve a path, no echo came rising forward, untouched by the weight behind me. Shadows of old choices.
Twisted along the trail, whispering for one last chance to pull my steps into the shape of the climb. And so relentless force burning through hesitation, breath pounding like a drum against the pull of yesterday, forging a stronger pace with each refusal to
Slow momentum shifted into command, driving me deeper into ground regret could never cross or understand.
red grace.
When motion rises beyond its reach, distance built from will alone, turning the past into silence as the climb grows louder. Move where regret cannot follow, rise through the push of a future, reclaim. Carve the road ahead with steps untouched by the echoes behind.
Footsteps fade from memory as the stride drives forward.
The ground trembled under the first steps forward as the world behind.
Try to coil around my ankles.
Pulling with the last threads of the cage that once decided my direction.
But the stride pushed harder, cutting through the remnants of fear, shaping the path. Unwilling to bend to what used to own my movements. Breath thickening the steel as momentum grew, carving space from the weight of yesterday.
The walls that once trapped my voice cracked under the pressure of the rise, the will expanding past every corner we're down. Try to hide, pushing me toward the old.
Hey.
Walk past what once caged me and leave the old restraints behind. Step into the path built from strength, moving where the past can no longer reach.
No longer reach. Every echo of the old cage tried to whisper me back into the shape it once forced, but the march grew louder, fueled by a pulse, forced through struggle and refusal to fold. Shadows distorted the edges of the trail, yet resolve broke them apart, turning hesitation into fragments. Scattered behind the steps, momentum hardened with the tin, cutting forward into a life untouched by the chains once worn. Will help me, can I follow the climb?
Breaks the frame of who I used to be. Every stride carving proof that freedom grows stronger than memory. Walk right past what once caged me, right through the open air with sharpened when you claim the world ahead, untouched by limits to pass.
No my feet, no longer command. No my feet.
The cage fades behind as the future stretches wide. Shadows of hesitation crept along the side of the road, reaching for a moment to drag the rhythm down, but the stride locked and pushing with a force caught from pressure. The breath growing sharper than the doubt, lingering behind. Pulses hit like strikes against the old habits, trying to return momentum, growing heavier with purpose to mend a rise that refuses to fall to the quiet pull of fear. Hesitation crept beneath the weight of forward motion, the will carving a new path past every whisper of retreat, driving the climb into certainty. Move stronger than hesitation, push past the pull of fear, rise with a force that doubt cannot slow, taking ground with steps sharpened by resolve. Every breath met resistance, but each push carved deeper into the path, meant for the stronger version of who I became. Broken echoes of the past tried to cling to the edges of the climb, but resolve shattered them under the weight of persistence. Momentum turned fears, rising through the grind of pressure, forging direction from the remnants of doubt and transforming strain into command. Strength grows where hesitation dies the core. Rebuild complete, moving with purpose, sharper than fear. Carrying the rise beyond its reach. Move stronger than hesitation, step through the drag of doubt with force forged to endure, claim the climb with motion. Fear cannot restrain. The pull fades as the rise steadies for.
Ruins stretched behind like a graveyard of decision, long abandoned their way, trying to whisper me back into the shape they once controlled. But the march pressed forward, carving distance from every crumbling echo, breath sharpened through tension, shaping the rise into something unburdened. Each step broke another tie to the wreckage that once dictated my pace, turning memory into dust, scattered in the wake of forward motion. The past reached out with fading grip, but resolve, move faster.
Cutting away the last traces of its pull, opening space for the climb to rise clear.
Walk free from the
ruins, high-eyed, leave the broken path without return, rising to a path untouched by what once held chains, and move forward unbound.
down. The remnants of a way crack beneath my steps, fading into silence, while the future widened with every strike. The march grew steadier, built from scars that no longer dictated direction. Breath is strong enough to push through the last shadows, trying to cling. Momentum shifted from survival to dominance, forging a direction where nothing no could follow or restrain the climb.
Freedom forms when the past loses power, the will strengthen through struggle, carving a path separate from every ruin left behind.
Walk free from the